hip flexor stretch, total wall, single arm overhead, dumbbell. The single arm overhead hip flexor stretch is a progression from the quad stretch, total wall. If you have tight quads, you won't be able to access the hip flexor, and you should focus on stretching the quads first. The total wall single arm overhead hip flexor stretch is an effective stretch for lengthening the anterior side of the hip and improving hip extension. It's a progression that I like to use in both front splits and gymnastics bridge training. To perform this stretch, you will need a soft surface like a yoga block or an ab mat to place your knee on, and a wall and a dumbbell. In a half kneeling position, place the toes on the wall and the knee on the soft surface. You want the shin to be at a 45-degree angle away from the floor, so don't place the knee too close to the wall. It's important to keep the hip square throughout the stretch. Grip a dumbbell and hold it in a single arm front rack position on the same side as the foot that is on the wall. The opposite hand will be placed on top of the front knee for support. The further forward you place the front foot, the deeper the stretch will be. During the stretch, you might find that you can move the front foot further forward and go a little deeper. Experiment with it. Start by setting a strong posterior pelvic tilt, PPT, by tucking your tailbone between your legs. You will keep the rear glute contracted for the entire stretch. Next, slowly start to move the torso away from the wall. You can use the hamstring of the front leg to pull yourself deeper into the stretch. Try to close the angle between the front hamstring and the calf muscle. You want to keep the hip square or even slightly push the rear hip forward, as this improves the effectiveness of the stretch. Once you reach the end range of the split, press the dumbbell overhead while maintaining the neutral grip. The palm is facing inwards towards the head. As you lift the dumbbell overhead, you also want to push the dumbbell back slightly so that your ear is clearly visible in front of the arm. Now that you've reached the single arm overhead position, you can focus on trying to extend the rear hip as much as possible to sink deeper into the stretch. I find that actively pushing the toes into the wall helps to contract the rear glute and extend the rear hip. How low can you get your undercarriage to the floor? At the same time, think about lengthening the front side of the body from the knee of the rear leg all the way up to the dumbbell. You should feel a deep stretch in the hip flexors. Hold the stretch for the prescribed time before switching and repeating on the opposite side. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the Sustainable Training YouTube channel.